Yo, what's going on, Fan of Thieves? Back with another video for you. Mortal Kombat 1 just got announced, and with that, I want to do a ranking of all the Mortal Kombat games that have come out. Now, we're not going to be doing like the GBA games or the Game Boy games or anything like that, but we are going to do a ranking. So in the comments, I want to know what your favorite games are. If you agree with my list, what you would change, anything like that, all right? So without further ado, let's go ahead and get to this tier maker, right? So, again, this is just based off of my ranking and how I will rank them, but it's going to go off of like the soundtracks, fatalities, I'll even say the story because a lot of them started having better story as the games progressed. The character rosters, just everything like that, okay? So, of course, we're going to start with the original. We're going to start with Mortal Kombat. We're going to start, and Mortal Kombat 1, I'm going to say, was a great game. Mortal Kombat 1 was a great game. Very limited roster, but of course it was the first in the series. But I grew up with the Sega Genesis version, and the starting theme, the character select, obviously Sub-Zero is the reason we even have the ESRB rating, but the stages were good, the soundtracks to the songs were good, the fatalities for their time were really good. Just a really good fighting game. Now, if you compare it to fighting games now, of course it is dated, but man, if you're a Mortal Kombat fan, I feel like you have to appreciate the OG Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat 2 is one of the best fighting games to me ever made. They took everything that Mortal Kombat 1 did and just boom, just blew it up, right? I'm talking the original, the opening thing. We all remember the lightning in the background. When the dragon showed up, it was crazy. And then like, yo, and again, I had this on Sega Genesis, but the character startup thing for that game was crazy. The roster was really well done. Like, we got Melina added in, Katana, and if y'all played, oh my gosh, if y'all played those games back in the day, Melina and Katana were problems. They were problems. The fatalities were awesome. Having Kentaro and Shao Kahn, make his debut. Mortal Kombat 2 is, if you're a fan of fighting games, I think you can appreciate the fact that I'm putting it in the best tier, okay? Mortal Kombat 3 was decent. Now, I'm a Sub-Zero guy through and through, right? Like, I am a Sub-Zero guy. Like, everybody knows me, Sub-Zero is my main man. But the automatic, the combo system came in. The fatalities were a little out there, but it was still fun. The reason I'm putting it in decent, how can you have the Lin Kuei represented, but not the Shirai Ryu? How do you take out Scorpion? Look, he don't even like that. How do you take out Scorpion in a Mortal Kombat game? That, to me, that was weird. And again, I don't think it was great, but I'm gonna put this ahead of Mortal Kombat 3 because Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 did rectify those mistakes. It's basically an upgraded version of Mortal Kombat 3, so I'm not gonna say it was great because to me, Mortal Kombat 3 and Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, the soundtracks were a little mid, the fatalities were it didn't have that dark tone that Mortal Kombat 2 had, or like the best character roster, so they did rectify it in Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, but I don't know too many people that really go out of their way to go back and play Mortal Kombat 3 or Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. But that game right there, Mortal Kombat Trilogy, honestly, and you know what? Nah, I'm keeping it in best. I almost wanted to put it in great. That might change. For now, the roster, the fatalities were crazy. And when I say crazy, it was just like, because they had so many characters, it's like, Ermac doing an uppercut and the body flips upside down. Or was that Rain? One of the two. No, it was Rain that did it. His first fatality where he strikes you with lightning bolts was cool, but you could tell they ran out of ideas. But we got animalities for everybody, brutalities, friendships, like, oh, Mortal Kombat Trilogy was just crazy. There was tag team combat, all kind of cool stuff. Mortal Kombat 4. Mortal Kombat 4. Decent game. It was decent. It was the first into the 3D fighting for Mortal Kombat. The roster was, yeah. You know, we got Jarek, Fujin, Tanya, Kai, Reiko, and then we lost people like Kano, where we really could have just had Kano, and just even Kano and Jarek. Some of the fatalities. Now, the graphics for its time was good. Like, when you go back and look at it now, like when you do Scorpion's Hellfire fatality and he rips the mask off and shoots the flames, it's a pixelated mess. But when I was a kid, seeing that on PlayStation, it was so good. So it was a decent game when it came out, right? Mortal Kombat 4. Now, these games did have some really cool stages and soundtracks. I'm not gonna lie, and they did have which Mortal Kombat 2 and to a degree Mortal Kombat did with the pit. They had the spike fatality, but you know, we had stage fatalities in these games, so I did want to mention that. But Mortal Kombat 4 did expand. I will say one thing about these two games. You could snap somebody's neck and they'd be like, oh, my leg! Like, some of the stuff they did, like Raiden had some of the funniest, they had some really funny sound effects and noises in Mortal Kombat 4 and Gold. I don't know what they told these people to say when they went into the booth, but some of the stuff was it was crazy, right? So, and you know what, man? Mortal Kombat 3, you going in the average. That whole Scorpion thing bugged me. You're average. Mortal Kombat vs. DC Universe, I think it gets a lot of hate, but I think it was a decent fighting game. I'm not a fan of the heroic brutalities or the fatalities for that matter. They were kind of weak. They were going for a team rating. The story was kind of cool. I do think they could have done more with the roster. Like, if they would do a Mortal Kombat vs. DC now, I think that game would be great. But as it stands, it was a pretty fun game. You know, the stage transitions and stuff were pretty cool. But I don't think I couldn't make it a great game. So, Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance. This is a tough one. I'm gonna say it was decent. It was a decent game. The roster, having Bo Raicho, Lee May. Wow. Wow. Having some of them characters. One fatality for everybody, and as beautiful as the stages were, as great as the music was, I loved Moloch. I thought drama was a cool addition, but not having stage fatalities, they really could have capitalized. And it was their first time doing a conquest mode, which was just a training. You know, they killed my boy Liu Kang off. Like, it was pretty cool. Now, I am gonna say Mortal Kombat Deception was great. I'm not putting it in the best. The conquest mode was fantastic. It could have been a game by itself. It was they took everything from Deception and made it better. They brought back stage fatalities. Everybody got 2 fatalities. You know, they even did a GameCube version where you got Katana, Shao Kahn, Zombie Liu Kang, like motor combat, chess combat. Deception was a really good game. The 3D games, to me, really didn't stick out that well, but Deception did its thing. Armageddon. I'm not gonna lie. And this is just me. I thought it was great. I thought Deception was probably the weakest of the 3D era, but Armageddon, the fact that there was no fatalities, you had to create your fatalities, was really weak. But that roster and create a fighter, and it had a beat 'em up conquest mode, and the stages were cool. They had stage transitions again. They had stage fatalities. Armageddon was better than a lot of people give credit for. At least to me, I thought it was pretty cool. Now, there's going to be 2 more games that are going in the best. Mortal Kombat 9, 2011. The roster was amazing, brilliant. The story was cool, combining Mortal Kombat 1, 2, and 3. They even sprinkled in the teas from, Shinnok and Quan Chi at the end. The roster was just so good. Stage fatalities, test your luck, there was so many features. Like, if they would have done a conquest mode for that game, I think Mortal Kombat 9 might have been my favorite. Mortal Kombat 9, I keep saying this, that roster was perfect. Tag team combat was so good. The fatalities were gory. They were just well made, Noob Saibot ripping somebody in half. Like, Mortal Kombat 9. Oh, out of all of these, Mortal Kombat 9 might be my favorite game still. Like, and this leads into this, right? Mortal Kombat X had the best, as far as fighting, I think Mortal Kombat X had the best fighting. The story introduced a lot of the combat kids, and maybe because I'm a 32-year-old who has the nostalgia, because I grew up with Mortal Kombat. It was hard to see my mains be secondary to the combat kids, and I can admit that, but it was still a great game. The guest characters were great. Jason Voorhees and Predator. Jason Voorhees is my favorite slasher, so the fact that he was finally in Mortal Kombat was great. The fatalities were amazing. The soundtrack was good. It went back to that dark theme that I loved, and I wasn't great at Mortal Kombat. Like, I'm not competitive with fighters, but I can truly appreciate how well Mortal Kombat X was made. And then I'm gonna say Mortal Kombat 11 was great. I do think Mortal Kombat X was better than 11, personally. Like I said, the combo system and just how well the characters fought in X felt better to me. I do like the X-rays and the fatal blows that Mortal Kombat 9, X, and 11 have. I do think Mortal Kombat 11 I'll say the best I can. You guys can agree or disagree, but I think it dumbed down the combat. Being able to get a fatal blow based off of how bad you get beat was that was a little weird, but the characters were great. The soundtrack was pretty good. Not one of my favorites, but it was pretty good. But that having the aftermath and having the expanded crypt was really cool. So I'm gonna give a lot of credit to that. Mortal Kombat 9, X, and 11 really did their things. I think 9 was the standout just to me, but they all did their things. If you have this game anything above the worst in any tier list, you're not a real Mortal Kombat fan. Next. There's that game right there. Okay. Mythologies, I might get some flack. I thought it was a decent game. I thought Mortal Kombat Mythologies was a decent game. Matter of fact, because some of y'all be thinking that people just, hold on. Because I gotta show y'all this. Like, when I say I'm a Mortal Kombat fan, like, is there anything else? Like, look at this, okay? When I say I'm a fan, I love Mortal Kombat 9. I love this game. My brother knows I like the game so much, he got me the movie soundtracks, okay? This game was not that bad. It wasn't. If they could, honestly, if they redid Mortal Kombat Mythologies and updated the controls, the music was fun, the fighting was good, they just needed to update some things and make that they could really, if they remade this game with how they did Shaolin Monks, I think Mythologies really would be a great game. And my last ranking, Shaolin Monks was one of the best fighting adventure games I've ever played in my life. I love Shaolin Monks. I love Shaolin Monks. I hope we get another game like Shaolin Monks. If you've never played Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks, you're doing yourself a disservice. Hear me and hear me good. You're doing yourself a disservice if you do not try, or if you've never played Shaolin Monks. Play that game. That game doesn't need, I don't need to explain why it was a good game. It was just a good game. It was just a good game. So, with all that being said, guys, what did you guys think of my list? Do you guys agree? Is there anything you would change? What is your favorite Mortal Kombat game or games, and why? I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Subscribe, hit them comments up, like the video so more people can see it, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace. I'm out.